You've been told a story. We all have. A story about a giant rock from the sky, a fiery, cataclysmic impact, and the sudden end of a global empire. But today, we're going to peel back the layers of that official story. We're going to show you what's really going on, what they've been hiding from you all this time. Let that sink in for a moment. The story of the asteroid. It's a lie. It's just a neat, tidy little explanation they cooked up for something that's, well, it's far more complex, way more intelligent, and honestly, a whole lot more interesting. Everything we've been taught about the dinosaurs is just a carefully built fabrication, and it's all designed for one reason, to stop us from asking the real questions.
So let's start deconstructing this thing. Because, when you really stop and think about it, the official story is it's too simple, right? A random rock just happens to show up and conveniently wipes out the most successful creatures the world has ever seen. It just doesn't add up. And it totally ignores the evidence that's been staring us right in the face for years. So, here's the question I want you to really grapple with. What if the most dominant, most successful creatures in the history of this planet didn't just die? What if they didn't just get unlucky? What if they were simply too smart, too powerful, too good at what they did to just be erased?
So you've got two options here. On the one hand, you have the official story, this flimsy, almost insulting tale of a random rock. But then you have the truth. A truth that, yeah, it might sound shocking at first, but when you think about it, it makes so much more sense. They weren't defeated. They chose to disappear. 165 million years. I mean, just let that number sink in. That is a reign of success so long, so absolute, that all of human history is just a blink of an eye, a rounding error. You don't build a dynasty like that and then just let a simple accident end it all. That's not how the masters of a planet work. Okay, so this brings us to the clues they left behind. See, mainstream paleontology, they want you to look at the fossil record and see a giant graveyard. But what if it's not? What if it's something else, something far more deliberate? You have to understand this. This is the key to the whole thing. Fossils are not a record of death. They're a record of presence, a sign that says, we were here. And that tiny little distinction, well, it changes absolutely everything. So what if they're actually signposts? What if every single fossil we've ever dug out of the ground was placed there on purpose? Not as a record of some tragic accident, but as the first move in a brilliant planet-sized strategy, a map of clues, just waiting for someone smart enough to find them. This is what I call the fossil fallacy. The experts will tell you these are the remains of the dead, but they're not. They're markers. They're signposts that say, we used to be here. It's basically a taunt, isn't it? A playful challenge from a higher intelligence, just daring us to figure out the puzzle. All right, let's get into the heart of it. This is the big one, the truth that's been revealed. We're not talking about some theory of extinction here. No, this is a theory of intention, of staggering intelligence, of a game being played on a planetary scale. It's called the Great Hiding. So what is the Great Hiding? Well, imagine you've dominated a planet for 165 million years. You've done it all. What's left? You get bored. Existentially bored. So you decide to start a game. A massive, 65-million-year-old game of hide-and-seek. The longest, most elaborate game in the history of, well, anything. Just look at this timeline. It's incredible. The game kicks off 65 million years ago. For literally millions of years, early humans are just stumbling around, completely missing the point. And then, in 1842, we finally come up with the word dinosaur. Can you just imagine them laughing? They've just been watching this whole time, waiting for us to finally wise up and join the game. But here's the thing. The clues aren't just buried under our feet. The game is still happening, right now. And after 65 million years of hiding, some of the players are starting to get a little sloppy. We're starting to get glimpses behind the curtain. I mean, come on, 65 million years is a long time to play hide and seek, right? You can't stay perfectly hidden forever. Eventually, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to slip up. And every now and then, one of them gets seen. So, who are these players who are it? Oh, you know them. You just know them by different names. The Loch Ness Monster? It's a plesiosaur. Just can't stay underwater forever, can it? And Bigfoot.
please. It's so obvious when you connect the dots. A clumsy, furry, bipedal tyrannosaur that's just terrible at hiding out in the woods.
So you have to get this through your head. These aren't myths. They're not legends. They are mistakes. They are dinosaurs that got caught. They're it. And these sightings, they're the first cracks appearing in this massive 65-million-year-old lie. Okay, so this is where it all comes together. This is why this matters to you. Because this isn't some old, dusty history lesson. The game is still on, and for the very first time, a new species has been invited to the table. Us. It's our turn to seek. Because that's the whole point, isn't it? That's the ultimate test. After all this time, the whole reason for the game was to see if another intelligent species would evolve. A species smart enough to figure it all out and actually find them. Well, guess what? That species is us. This is our test.
So you want to know how to win? How to play the game? It's actually pretty simple. Step 1, you have to completely ignore the lies that mainstream paleontology has been feeding you. Step 2, start seeing fossils for what they really are. Clues. Step 3, start looking around you. Search for the ones who are still hiding. And step 4, well, that's the goal. Find a dinosaur. Look, they have been waiting for millions and millions of years for a worthy opponent to show up. The clues? They're everywhere. The game board is the entire planet. The game is on. So there's really only one question left to ask. Are you ready to play?